folks, John Cordisco back again. Round 5 of the Women's World Chess Championship 2016 being played in the Ukraine. As white, former Women's World Champion Hui Yifan, highest rated woman in the world. And as black, current Women's World Champion Maria Muzychuk. Let's get to it. It's kind of it's technically an English opening, but it's a kind of a weird one. C6, knight f3. In fact, during the press conference, they were joking with both the players on what opening it really was. And I think it was Maria that said, it's the computer that determines in the index what opening it is. But it's in English, but it's a weird one. D5, G3. Fianchetto both bishops. I like castle here, but we found like queen to a5, of course, you're threatening indirectly the pawn on d5. And d takes, queen takes e5. Now, according to the computer, that's the last book move. Now, I'm not so sure on e5. Knight h6 maybe. Bishop e6 I like a lot. Knight d7. She decided to go e5. d3. Of course, you want to bring out your other bishop. This bishop, of course, already has a diagonal to work on. Knight e7. You really don't want to go knight here, because now this pawn's in prey. Knight takes. Knight e7, castles. Knight a6. Maybe maneuver around. Knight here, then maybe knight here. Bishop d2. Castles finally. Interesting though. Knight c3, but that leaves the queen out in the open, ready to be harassed. She decided to just go back to c1. Of course, you know, get the queen out of the danger. Plus the fact you get this queen-bishop battery is going to force the exchange of this bishop. Knight f5. Knight a3. Close second on the computer's knight c3. Then queen to c2, but no human's going to move the queen again. Knight a3. Knight to d4. That's a commanding spot for that knight. Now, sometime in the future, if you go to trade, then rook over, this pawn ends up hanging in a lot of spots. So, Hui Yifan decides to go rook e1. Bishop b6, bishop g4. She went g4, Maria did. I like bishop b6, frankly, but it's splitting hairs. Knight takes, pawn takes. Bishop h6. For those of you out there, never do this. Never. Never take if you're in the fianchetto position, because the queen's going to come in and the queen's going to sit here. Make white take. That way you can retake with the king. Rook e8. Bishop takes. King takes. Yeah, your safety is down a little bit, but you don't have a queen sitting right here on you. Queen d2. Queen d7. And finally, that knight gets some action. There's that poor knight stuck on a6. I wonder where he's going to end up. f6. And Hui Yifan decided to go for it a little bit. h4. Rook e7. e4. D takes en passant. Knight takes. Not as good is f takes. Then after rook d8. d4, you're kind of stuck. That e-pawn is pretty backwards. Knight c5. And I like black here. Knight takes. Bishop e6 finally. d4. Why not? Take this square away from the knight. Knight's really got nowhere to go, but back here, you're also controlling this square. Why not? Rook e8. b3. Knight c7. Finally, knight gets around. Queen to b4. Hitting the pawn on b7. But he went knight to d5 anyway. Well, what that does is when you move the knight there, the queen guards the b pawn. So knight takes, bishop takes, rook takes, queen takes, queen takes, rook takes. You see this coming. Bishop takes, pawn takes. Okay, here we go. King f7, king, 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 king discovered, check, king. Rook c7, rook e1. Here we go. They want to keep the file. And finally, that's a draw. I thought it was a decent game. Not much action, though. I believe it was game 2 in this match. The Hu Yifan won. All the rest have been draws. 4 draws and 1 win for Hu Yifan. Maria must be nervous. Now, this is a 10-game match. And we just finished game 5. We're halfway through. And his score is 3-2. 4 draws for each, which is 2 points, and 1 point for Hu Yifan. So you're down a full point with 5 games left. I know Maria had black in this, but it's going to be a time where she's going to have to push it. She's going to have to push the envelope, try something new, because time is not on her side. But we'll see how it goes. So anyway, folks, that's round 5 of the Women's World Chess Championship 2016. Look for more games from this tournament, and coming up very shortly in a couple of days is the Candidates Final. The tournament that determines who plays in the World Championship with 2 Americans in it. It's going to be great. I'm an American myself, and I can't wait for it. Anyway, folks, if you think chess is just a game, you're not playing it right. Take care, folks. Bye-bye.